The morning sky above New Metro City glowed with soft golden lights. Flying cars moved smoothly in silent lanes above the streets. Skytrams zipped by like bright blue arrows. Everything felt alive, moving with speed and order. Lena stood on the edge of the road, holding a small brown bag and a folded resume in her hand. She wore a clean white blouse, plain gray pants, and slightly worn shoes. Her long dark hair was tied back in a simple braid. She looked up at the sky and took a deep breath. Today was important. She checked the glowing time on her wristband, 8:17 a.m. Her interview was at 9 a.m. But the company's office was across the city, near the orbital tower. She had to catch the next Skytram to reach in time. She whispered to herself, "Just one chance, Lena. Don't mess it up." Lena had prepared for this interview for weeks. It was a position at Zentech Systems, one of the most advanced tech companies on Earth. The job was not glamorous, just a junior assistant role, but it offered enough credits to support her mother and younger brother. Her father had passed away 2 years ago, and since then, Lena had been the only one holding the family together. The Skytram arrived with a quiet hum. People entered and exited quickly. Just as she took a step forward, a sudden crack echoed nearby. Lena turned her head. A small delivery drone had crashed into a light pole. Sparks flickered. A man lay on the ground near it, clutching his leg. People walked past him. A few glanced, but no one stopped. Some even stepped away, avoiding him like trouble. Lena hesitated. Her eyes darted from the man to the waiting tram. She had a choice. She looked at the stranger again. He was older than her, maybe late 30s, with messy brown hair and a dark coat. His face was bruised, and he seemed dazed. She stepped off the path and rushed to him. "Sir, are you okay?" she asked, kneeling beside him. The man looked at her, surprised. "I think I twisted something." "Your leg?" He nodded weakly. Lena opened her bag and pulled out a small med patch. She gently rolled up his pant leg and placed it just above his ankle. It beeped, activating pain relief. Then she offered him water from her bottle. "Don't move too fast. Let it settle first." The man gave a small smile. "You didn't have to stop." Lena smiled back. "I did." "You were hurt." He looked around. Everyone else walked away. "I'm not everyone." He let out a soft laugh. "No, you're not." Lena helped him sit up against the pole. She checked the drone. Its side was dented, but not destroyed. She tapped its panel, ran a quick scan, and adjusted the stabilizer. "You know drones?" he asked. "A little. I studied robotics in school." The drone rose shakily into the air and beeped twice, a sign that it could finish its delivery. Man looked impressed. "You fixed it," she smiled. "Just a patch. It'll need real repairs later." He looked at her with more attention now, as if trying to understand something. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lena." "Nice to meet you, Lena. I'm Dan." He reached out a hand. She shook it gently. Suddenly, her wristband blinked. 8:41 a.m. Her eyes widened. "Oh no, my interview." She jumped up, looked toward the Skytram track. The next one wouldn't arrive for 12 minutes. She would be late. Dan noticed her panic. "Go, I'll be fine." Lena paused. "Are you sure?" "Yes, you already helped more than enough. Thank you." She nodded, turned to run, but then stopped. She looked back once more. "Take care," she said. "You too," he replied with a knowing smile. Lena dashed down the street, hoping for a faster ride, but traffic was heavy. Her wristband ticked past 9:05 a.m. as she reached the Zentech building. Her heart sank. The receptionist, a tall woman with silver glasses, looked at her with a tight smile. "You're late." "I know. I'm really sorry. The interviews are over. I'm afraid we cannot reschedule." Lena stood there for a moment, breathless. Her chance was gone. She left the building quietly and walked toward a small bench near the edge of the street. Her shoulders dropped. She looked at the sky. blinking fast to hold back tears. A part of her whispered, "You should have kept walking," but another part whispered louder, "You did the right thing." She reached into her bag and pulled out a small wrapped sandwich her mother had made. She ate it slowly, watching the city move around her. Far above the city, in a silent orbiting station, a different kind of screen was glowing. Dan, whose full name was Dallin Maris, CEO of Novacore Industries, one of the richest and most secretive tech empires, was reviewing a file. Lena Vess, age 23, education, top of her class in robotics and AI studies. Family, supporting mother and younger brother. Status, rejected from Zentech due to missed interview. He watched the footage again, recorded from the drone's hidden lens. Her gentle voice, calm actions, kindness. She had no idea he was testing empathy across the city, disguised as a nobody. He smiled to himself. She stopped when no one else did. He tapped the desk. "Bring her name to my office," he said to his assistant. "I want to see how far kindness can really go." High above Earth's surface, far beyond the clouds and city lights, a sleek station orbited silently. Its metal body reflected the sun in silver glints. Inside the station, everything was quiet except the hum of machines and the soft voices of artificial minds. This was Novacore Prime, the central base of the most powerful tech company in the system. Inside a wide chamber with glowing panels and floating screens, Dallin Maris stood in front of a large, circular window. He looked down at Earth, his hands behind his back. He wore a black suit made of special fabric that changed color depending on light. He looked calm, but his mind was busy. A soft voice echoed in the room. "Sir, the drone logs from yesterday are complete." "Play them," Dallin said. The screen lit up. It showed a replay of Lena kneeling beside the injured man, him in disguise. Her face was focused, kind, and full of concern. Her voice was calm. She didn't panic. She didn't brag. She didn't expect anything in return. "She helped without asking who I was," Dallin said softly. "Yes, sir," the voice replied. "Would you like to see her profile again?" Another screen opened. It showed Lena's basic data. Her school history, family details, job applications. One sentence stood out in her resume. "I want to help solve real problems, not just work in shiny towers." Dallin smiled. She doesn't even realize how rare that thinking is. For the last 3 years, Novacore had been secretly running tests across the city. Their goal wasn't to find the most skilled people. It was to find the most human ones. Machines had taken over most jobs. Robots and AI could build cities, fly ships, even handle diplomacy. But machines still failed in one thing: making emotional choices, the kind that saved lives or started peace. Novacore was preparing a mission far beyond Earth. Not just to build, but to lead. And they needed someone different. Not trained in just code, but built with a strong heart. Dallin walked back to his desk and sat down. "Send Lena Vess a message," he told the AI assistant. "Make it look simple. No company name, just a meeting location." "Yes, sir. Time?" "Tomorrow morning." He paused, and no delay this time. Back on Earth, Lena sat on the edge of her bed. The small room she shared with her younger brother was quiet. He was still asleep, curled under a blanket. The walls were thin. Outside, machines buzzed in the early light. Her mother was already in the kitchen, packing food for her shift at the textile printer shop. Lena stared at her old wristband. It was cracked on one side. She tapped it once more and checked her messages. Still nothing from Zentech. Her interview was missed. She had no hope of a second chance. She sighed and stood up. Maybe she would apply somewhere else, some smaller company. Maybe even outside the city. Just as she was tying her braid, her wristband buzzed. "New message. We noticed your actions yesterday. You showed something rare. If you're willing to explore a greater path, come to Dock Platform 3B at 7 o'clock. No luggage needed." "Just yourself," Lena frowned. There was no name, no company, no sender ID. She stared at it. Is this a joke? She whispered. Her mother came in just then, holding a small metal lunchbox. You okay? She asked. Lena quickly smiled. Yes, Mama, just a strange message. From the company? No, I think. It's from someone else. Her mother looked at her with tired but loving eyes. Whatever it is, trust your heart. You always choose the right thing. Lena nodded slowly. That morning, after helping her brother with breakfast, Lena put on her simple gray coat and left for the city once again. The mysterious invitation dock platform 3B was not in the public zone. It was part of the old cargo area near the edge of New Metro City. Few people came here anymore. Large metal containers were stacked like towers, and delivery bots zipped through the air. Lena arrived just before 7 o'clock. The air was cold, and the wind made her coat flap behind her. She stood alone for a few minutes. Then, a sleek black shuttle appeared out of nowhere, silent, fast and beautiful. It hovered above the platform, then slowly landed with a soft hiss. Its door opened. Inside, a smooth voice spoke. Welcome, Lena Vess. Please step in. She hesitated. Who are you? You helped a man when no one else did. That choice brought you here. The voice didn't sound like a normal robot. It was warm, almost human. She stepped inside. The door closed, and the shuttle lifted off. She grabbed the rail beside her as the city fell away below. Within seconds, the clouds were above them, and the sky turned dark. She was going to space. Lena's heart raced. What is this? The voice replied. You are being considered for something greater than any job interview. You showed leadership, kindness, and instinct, qualities that cannot be programmed. Lena looked out the window. The stars were clearer now. Ahead, a silver structure floated in orbit, Novacor Prime. She had heard rumors about it, but never thought she'd see it with her own eyes. She whispered, Why me? The voice answered softly, Because you did not walk past. You stopped. That one moment may have changed your future, and maybe much more. The shuttle moved smoothly through space. Lena sat near the window, eyes wide, heart beating fast. She had never left Earth before. Now she was watching the planet grow smaller below her, covered in clouds and sunlight. Everything felt like a dream. No company name, no job title, no guide, only a message that told her she had been noticed for her kindness. The shuttle voice spoke again. We will arrive at Novacor Prime in 4 minutes. Lena whispered to herself, Novacor. The real thing. She had heard the name many times. Novacor was not like other companies. It didn't post ads. It didn't hold public events. It worked in silence, building technology far beyond Earth's normal level. People said Novacor was behind the first deep space AI, the advanced healing fields, and even the memory link systems, but no one she knew had ever been inside. The shuttle slowed down as a giant structure appeared ahead. It looked like a huge wheel, spinning slowly with lights across its rings. It was calm, clean, and full of life, yet it made her feel small. The voice said, Welcome to Novacor Prime. The shuttle docked. A door opened with a soft hiss. Lena stepped out into a wide hallway filled with soft lights and smooth white walls. The floor was warm under her feet, and the air smelled like fresh rain. A young woman stood waiting. She wore a deep blue uniform with silver stripes. Lena Vess? The woman asked kindly. Yes, Lena answered. I'm Mira. I'll be your guide today. Please follow me. They walked side by side through the shining halls. Other people passed them, some human, some clearly not. Lena saw tall figures with glowing eyes, robots with gentle faces, and a few beings with skin like glass. Everyone seemed busy, but not rushed. Focused but peaceful. Mira led her into a quiet room. Inside, there was a round table, a few chairs, and a screen on the wall. Please sit, Mira said. You'll begin with a few exercises. Exercises? Lena asked. Simple ones. Nothing dangerous. Lena nodded and sat down. The screen lit up. A soft voice asked her questions, not about math or machines, but about decisions. What would she do if someone lied to her? What would she do if two teammates were arguing? What would she choose if? One option helped a few people fast, but another helped many people slowly. Lena answered honestly. She didn't try to sound perfect. She just said what she truly felt. When the questions ended, Mira returned with a tablet. You did well, Mira said. Better than most. You think with your heart and your mind. That's rare. Lena smiled nervously, but I'm not trained. In leadership, I've never been in charge of anything big. That's exactly why you were called. Mira looked serious now. We've brought in many skilled people, engineers, doctors, AI experts. But most of them think in straight lines. You think in circles. You think about the people around you, Lena blinked. Is that ... good? It's what we need. The next room, Mira led her to another room. This one had walls made of glass, looking out into open space. A group of people stood in a circle. Some were human. Others weren't. They turned as Lena entered. This is Lena Vess, Mira announced. She is joining today's trial session. A tall man with a smooth silver badge nodded. Welcome, Lena. We've been waiting. Lena looked around. She felt nervous again. Everyone seemed smarter, older, and more confident. What was she doing here? But she remembered her mother's words. Trust your heart. The trial session began. It wasn't a test in writing or numbers. Instead, they gave the group a simple task. Plan a supply drop for a distant colony facing a food shortage. But there were challenges: limited space, bad weather, and 3 different species needing different things. Arguments started. One man said speed was most important. Another said quality was better. A machine mind suggested cutting supplies to make room. Lena didn't speak at first. She listened. Then, quietly, she stepped forward. What if we change the order of delivery? She said, send basic supplies to all, then follow up with second drops for special needs. That way no one feels forgotten, and we still move fast. The room fell silent for a moment. Then the man with the silver badge smiled. That's a very human way of thinking. Lena blushed. Is that ... good? It's exactly what this mission needs. The end of the day after the trial, Lena was taken to a quiet lounge. A table held warm drinks and soft music played from hidden speakers. She sipped something sweet and minty. Mira returned. You did well today. Lena gave a small smile. I still don't understand why I'm here. Mira sat beside her. Let me tell you something, she said. Novacor is planning a project beyond the solar system. A colony not just of humans, but of many species. Machines will build it. AIs will protect it. But someone has to lead the people, guide the different cultures, help them live together. Lena looked surprised. You want me ... to lead? Not yet, Mira said gently, but we want to see if you can. This is the first step. Lena looked down at her hands. I'm just a simple girl from Earth, Mira smiled. That's exactly what Dallin said. Lena's eyes widened. You mean Dan? Mira nodded. Yes, he used a false name when he met you. He wanted to see how strangers treat strangers. Lena leaned back slowly. He was testing me. He was hoping someone would help without knowing who he was. You did. That changed everything. A new beginning. That night, Lena was given a small private room on the station. She lay on the soft bed, looking out at the stars through the window. Her life had changed so fast. Just yesterday, she was running for a job. Now she was on a station in orbit, being trained for something she never imagined. She thought of her mother and brother. She missed them already. But she also felt something. knew something she hadn't felt in a long time: hope. Lena woke to soft light entering her room through the window. The stars were still shining, but now they seemed closer, almost like they were watching her. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she remembered. She wasn't on Earth anymore. She was on Nova Core Prime, a space station orbiting far above her home planet. Everything had changed in just one day. She sat up slowly and looked around. The bed was soft, the room was quiet, and a message glowed on the wall screen. Welcome to Day 2, Lena. Please report to the Harmony Chamber at 8 o'clock. Today is not about what you know. It is about who you are. Lena took a deep breath. Let's see what that means. The Harmony Chamber. The Harmony Chamber was a large dome-shaped room filled with green plants, soft lights, and a faint hum in the air. It didn't feel like a test room. It felt like a garden in space. Lena entered and saw a circle of 10 others, some human, some not. A tall woman with purple skin and glowing silver eyes stood in the center. I am Velen, she said calmly. Today's task is not about winning. It is about understanding each other. The group was asked to solve a problem. There was a conflict between two colony teams. One team wanted to build fast, using machines. The other wanted to build slowly, using natural tools and careful planning. Each side believed the other was wrong. They were given roles. Lena was placed in the middle as the mediator. Try to bring peace, Velen said. Lena listened to both sides. The faster team argued with strong voices. The slower team used careful words, but no one was listening to the other. Everyone wanted to be right. Instead of shouting over them, Lena stood silently. Slowly the room grew quiet. People noticed her silence. Then she spoke. We are all building the same colony. We need speed, but we also need care. What if the outer walls are built quickly by machines, and the inner spaces are made with the slow team's methods? The two sides looked at each other. One of the faster builders crossed his arms. That might work. A slower team member nodded. We'd need equal respect. You'll have it, Lena said. This isn't about sides. It's about working together, Velen smiled. You passed the test without fighting or forcing. You found the bridge, Lena blinked. This was a test? Yes, many people fail here. But you understand something rare. True leadership isn't power, it's balance. Lunch with a machine. Later, Lena was led to a small round room where lunch was being served. To her surprise, her only companion was a machine. It was humanoid, with a calm metal face and soft blue eyes. I am UNIT 9, it said. I requested to share this meal with you, Lena smiled nervously. Thank you. Food trays arrived, one with real food, one with power cells for the unit. They both began eating. Unit 9 spoke again. Many humans avoid us. They believe we don't feel, but we observe. We learn, and we remember. I don't mind sitting with you, Lena said gently. You're still someone. The machine paused for a moment, almost as if thinking. You helped a stranger yesterday. We all saw it. Lena looked surprised. You were watching? All of Nova Core was watching. We test kindness more than skill. You pass something most people fail. Lena stirred her soup quietly. I didn't think it was a test. I just helped. That's what made it real. The next challenge in the evening, the final test, came. Lena was placed in a room with 5 others, including a tall human man named Bren, who acted like he was already the leader. On the wall, a screen showed a fake crisis. A colony ship had lost communication. Supplies were missing. People were scared. Each member was given different information, some true, some false. They had to decide what to do, and fast. Bren stood up quickly. We send full power to the ship. If something's wrong, we fix it now. Lena looked at her data. But if this info is true, they may not need power. They need calm, and power could overload the system. Another member said, We don't know which data is real. Lena took a breath. Then we stop, share what we all know. Find the common truth. Guessing now could hurt people. The others paused. Bren frowned but stayed quiet. They shared their data. After 2 minutes, they found the real signal. The ship was safe. It just needed a connection repair. Velen appeared again. This test is often failed by those who rush. But you stopped to think. You chose care over pride. Bren looked at Lena, then nodded respectfully. You're better at this than I thought. Lena smiled. I just wanted to help the people on that ship. That's the point, right? Dallin watches in a quiet dark room on the top level of Novacore Prime. Dallin Maris watched the test results. He sat alone, surrounded by screens showing each trial. His face was thoughtful, serious. She doesn't lead like most people, he said softly. A voice answered from the wall. She leads from behind, not above. That style is rare. Rare and right. He stood up and turned toward the window. The stars outside blinked slowly. I want her to meet the mission team, he said. Tomorrow. Understood, replied the voice. Back in her room, Lena sat in her room again, looking out the window. Her hands were folded in her lap. She didn't feel like she had passed anything special. She just listened. She just helped. She just tried to make things better. That's what her father used to say. You don't need a big name to do big things. Just do the right thing, even when no one sees. Now someone had seen. And that had brought her here. The stars outside shimmered like little dreams floating in space. Lena smiled, not fully understanding what tomorrow would bring, but ready to face it. Asterisk. The next morning, Lena woke early. She couldn't sleep much the night before. Her mind was full of questions. Why was she really here? What was the real plan? A message waited on her wall screen again. Lena Vess, you are requested in the observation hall at 9 o'clock. The director would like to meet you in person. Lena stared at the words. The director? She had heard people whisper about him. He was the one behind Novacore, its founder, its mind, its heart. But why would he want to meet her? She got ready quickly. Her hands trembled a little, but she tried to stay calm. She wore a clean gray uniform given to her the day before. Her braid was neat. She took one last look at the stars outside her window before stepping out. The hall of stars, the observation hall, was a wide room with high glass walls that looked directly into deep space. Stars filled the sky like glowing diamonds. The floor was black and shiny. The ceiling showed moving galaxies like a quiet light show. In the center of the room stood a man in a dark coat. He had short brown hair and stood with his hands behind his back. He didn't look powerful. He looked normal. But Lena knew his face. It was the man she had helped on Earth, the injured man near the broken drone. Dan? She asked softly. He turned and smiled. That's what I called myself that day. But my name is Dallin Maris. I'm the director of Novacore. Lena stood frozen for a moment. You? She whispered. You're the director? Yes, he replied. And you're the girl who gave me water, helped me stand and fixed my drone when everyone else walked by. Lena didn't know what to say. So she said the truth. I thought you were just hurt. I didn't know. That's what made it real, Dallin said. You helped because it was right, not because of who I was. He stepped closer. I've built machines that think faster than humans. I've worked with minds from other galaxies. But I've learned something important. Technology doesn't build trust. People do. Lena looked down. I missed my interview that day. Dallin nodded. Yes, you gave up your chance at a job. And instead, you earned something bigger. She looked up. What do you mean? He pointed to a large screen beside them. It showed a distant planet, blue and green, still forming its first cities. This is Project Horizon, a colony far from Earth, built by many species, but machines can't run everything there. We need people, someone who can understand problems, bring peace, and lead with wisdom. Lena stared at the screen. You want me to go there? I want you to help lead it. She stepped back. But I'm not trained. I've never been a leader. I'm just a simple girl. Dallin finished her sentence. She nodded slowly. Dallin smiled gently. That's what I once was. A simple boy from a small city. I built machines in my mother's garage. I failed. More times than I can count. But someone gave me a chance. He looked at her firmly. And now I'm giving that chance to you. Why her? They sat beside a quiet glass wall, watching stars drift slowly outside. Dallin explained everything. Project Horizon was not just a colony. It was an experiment in unity. Aliens, humans, and machines would live and work together. But problems had already started: disagreements, small fights, cultural confusion. The colony needed someone who could listen before judging, someone who saw people first, not power. We tested hundreds, Dallin said. Many had more knowledge, more experience, but they lacked heart. Lena whispered, And you think I have enough heart to lead? I saw you calm a room of strangers. I saw you bring two teams to agreement. I saw you treat a machine like a person. You didn't just pass tests, you lived the answers. Lena sat in silence. Then she asked, What if I fail? Dallin looked at her with steady eyes. Then you fail doing the right thing. And that's more than most ever try. A choice to make. He didn't force her. He gave her a choice. You can return to Earth, Dallin said. We'll arrange a job for you at any company you choose. Or you can board the Horizon ship tomorrow and begin training with the team heading to the colony. Lena stood at the window, heart full of emotion. Part of her missed home, her mother, her brother, the smell of their kitchen, the little things. But another part felt something stronger: purpose. I want to go, she said finally. Dallin smiled. Then pack lightly. The next chapter begins now. Saying goodbye that evening, Lena was given a communication room. It allowed her to send a message back home. Not a call, just a message. She recorded a short video for her mother and brother. Hi, Mama. I know this will surprise you, but I'm safe. I'm in space, yes, real space. I've been asked to help on a special mission. I can't say much yet, but I promise I'll do my best. I love you both. Tell little Ren to do his homework. And don't worry, I'll make you proud. She sent the message and sat quietly. She felt nervous. She felt afraid. But deep inside, she also felt ready. One last gift. Before she left for her room, Mira stopped her in the hallway and handed her a small box. From the director, she said with a soft smile. Lena opened it. Inside was a simple silver pin shaped like a star, with one word engraved on the back: remember. The Horizon ship stood tall in the dock of Novacor Prime. Its body was long and smooth, painted with silver and blue lines. Bright lights glowed along its sides. It was not just a ship, it was a moving city, built to carry people across the stars. Lena stood near the boarding ramp, wearing her new uniform. It was simple, dark gray with a small star pin near her heart. The same pin Dallin had given her. She touched it gently. Behind her, Mira stood with a warm smile. You're early, Mira said. I couldn't sleep, Lena replied, watching the ship. I've never seen anything so big. Neither had I, the first time, Mira said. But you'll do fine. Lena looked around. People and machines moved boxes, guided passengers, and checked systems. Robots floated past carrying supplies. Engineers in blue suits ran last-minute tests. Everyone seemed to know their role. Except Lena. She still wondered, why me? But deep inside, she knew the answer. She didn't come to be perfect. She came to do her best for others, not for herself. Welcome to the Horizon. Inside the ship, everything looked new. Bright corridors, smooth floors, walls that changed color based on light. The ceiling showed calm skies to help people relax. It didn't feel like a machine. It felt like a home. Lena was shown to the leadership wing. She didn't expect her room to be large, but it was. It had a wide window showing the stars, a desk, a soft bed, and a small message screen. She read the schedule. Day 1, Team Introduction and Colony Briefing. Room B12, Command Deck. Time, 14 o'clock hours. She had 3 hours. Enough time to breathe, think, and get ready. The team had exactly 14 o'clock. Lena entered the command room. A round table sat in the middle with 10 seats. People were already there, some human, others alien. There was a tall woman with deep green skin and yellow eyes. A machine with smooth silver plates and a voice like music. A quiet boy with soft glasses and a glowing wristpad. And others she didn't yet know. An older man stood at the head of the table. He wore a captain's badge. Everyone, he said, this is Lena Vess. She'd be leading the Harmony Division on the colony. Lena felt everyone's eyes turn to her. Some smiled. Some looked unsure. One person, Commander Frail, a strict officer, raised an eyebrow. She's young, Frail said. No military, no political background. She was chosen by the director himself, the captain replied. That's enough for me. Lena nodded politely. I don't come with big titles. I come to listen, understand, and solve problems with peace, not pressure. There was a short silence. Then the green-skinned woman smiled. That's a good start. Her name was Kelra, a cultural scientist from the planet Lornes. She was kind, calm, and thoughtful. Let's begin, said the captain. The briefing. The captain explained the mission. The colony, named Unity Point, had been started 6 months ago. Humans, aliens, and AI were all part of it. Machines had built most of the structures, and the first wave of settlers had already arrived. But problems had started. Food supplies were not equally shared. Some alien groups didn't understand human customs. Machines followed logic, but sometimes ignored emotion. Small arguments had turned into bigger tensions. We don't want this to become a failed project, the captain said. That's where you come in, Lena. Lena nodded slowly. Understood. First steps on a new world. 3 days later, the Horizon ship landed on the colony's landing field. The planet below was beautiful. Blue oceans, green hills, bright skies. But the colony buildings looked tense, like they had been built fast. Without joy. Lena stepped out with her team. The air was fresh. Birds sang from strange tall trees. A small group of settlers stood waiting. Some clapped quietly. Others watched with tired faces. The leader of the colony, an older woman named Sora, greeted her. Welcome to Unity Point, Miss Vess. We need you more than you know. Lena smiled. I'll do my best. Together, we'll fix what's broken. The real work begins over the next few days. Lena visited every part of the colony. She sat with farmers arguing over water. She listened to alien workers who felt ignored by humans. She spoke with robot teams who didn't understand why people got upset over things like food presentation or noise. She didn't give fast orders. She asked questions. She watched closely. And slowly, something began to change. People started talking to each other again. One day, Lena gathered 3 groups, humans, aliens, and machines, in a common hall. She said, we speak in different ways. We think in different lines. But this colony isn't about being the same. It's about building together. She asked each group to explain their needs. Then she asked others to repeat what they heard, not respond. Just repeat. It was simple but powerful. For the first time, everyone felt heard. Trouble from within, but not everyone liked peace. A small group of settlers believed humans should lead everything. They didn't trust aliens or AI. They began spreading fear. One day, a storage center caught fire. A message was left behind: humans first. No one was hurt, but it was a warning. Lena called an emergency meeting. This colony belongs to all of us, she said firmly. If someone cannot respect that, they don't belong here. She asked for calm, for patience, and she asked for unity, not in silence, but in shared purpose. The team worked quickly. Security improved, meetings were held daily, and the people who caused the fire were quietly removed from the site, without force but with clear justice. A new name, a new feeling. A week later, the entire colony stood in the central square. Lena stood on a simple platform. No banners, no loud music. Just truth. We are not just building homes, she said. We are building trust. People clapped. Even robots raised lights in agreement. Aliens hummed in joy. From that day forward, the colony wasn't just called Unity Point. It became known as Hopefield, named by the people. Guided by a girl who once missed an interview but found something greater. The sun of Hopefield rose gently over the green hills. The colony was no longer just a place to survive, it was a place to live. Gardens bloomed. Robots and settlers worked side by side. Children of different species played together in the open. Square. Lena walked through the central street. People greeted her with smiles and respect. "Morning, Miss Vess. Thank you for yesterday's speech." She smiled and nodded. It still felt strange to be called Miss Vess. She was just Lena, the same girl who once carried a broken datapad and wore old shoes. But now, she was Hopefield's harmony leader, the one who brought calm when others feared the worst. As she passed the communication tower, Mira waved from the control panel. "Lena," she called out. "You've got a message. Private channel. From Earth." Lena blinked. "Earth?" Mira nodded, smiling. A familiar voice inside the quiet room. Lena sat down and pressed the call button. The screen flickered. A calm blue light filled the space. Then a face appeared. Older, sharp eyes, kind smile. Dallin. He looked the same, but also different, more formal, more focused. "Hello, Lena," he said. "You've done well." Lena smiled slowly. "It's been a long time." "It has," he replied. "And I never forgot." Lena tilted her head. "Why call now?" He paused, then leaned closer. "Because the time has come to tell you everything." The truth revealed. Dallin stood and turned his camera. Behind him, a tall banner appeared with gold letters. Novacore Alliance, Founders Board, Lena's. Eyes widened. "You're—" "Yes," he said softly. "I'm not just an employee of Novacore, I'm one of its founders. I built the company with others. I stayed hidden because power must be earned before it's given." She was silent. "For a moment, and I met you on a rainy street. When I gave you my umbrella," he nodded. "You gave kindness when you had nothing. You helped a stranger without expecting reward. That moment mattered more to me than any degree or award." Lena leaned back, still trying to understand. Dallin continued. "I needed someone who could lead not by command, but by heart. Hopefield is living proof that I chose well." "A new offer, but there's more," Dallin said. He tapped a screen. A file opened. It showed blueprints, star maps, names of new colonies. "We're planning 3 more colonies. Places where different species can live and grow. We need leaders like you." Lena raised an eyebrow. "You want me to leave Hopefield?" "Not leave," Dallin said. "Expand, you'll guide others. Train new leaders. Build peace not just on one planet, but across systems." Lena looked outside the window. Children played near the wind gardens. Drones flew by with water jugs. Everything looked alive. She spoke gently. "I never wanted to be famous, Dallin." "I know," he replied. "That's exactly why you're ready." Saying goodbye for now, Lena stood before the settlers that evening. They gathered in a circle under the glowing trees. Lights danced in the branches. Music played softly. She raised her voice. "When I came here, I had no plan. I only had my heart. You trusted me. We built something beautiful together." She smiled and added, Now, I've been asked to guide others like us. I won't be far. This isn't goodbye. It's just the next chapter. Kelra stepped forward and placed a hand over her heart. You brought harmony to Hopefield. May your voice guide the stars. The robots lit their lights. The aliens sang. Humans clapped. Even the quiet ones smiled. Legacy in Motion. Lena trained 2 leaders to carry on her work. Arlen, a kind farmer with sharp ideas, and Nari, a young alien girl who loved learning. Together, they formed the new Harmony Council of OPEFIELD. Before leaving, Lena left behind a letter. Hopefield was never mine. It was always yours. Keep it growing. Keep it honest. And remember, peace is not silence. It is understanding. The next a month later, Lena stood on the deck of a new ship, the Radiant Path. This ship was different. Smaller but faster, built to find distant planets. On board were a dozen new volunteers, humans, aliens, machines ready to start. A new life. Lena looked at the map. The destination was called Lura 9, a planet with wide rivers and floating mountains. She smiled. Another place to understand. Another place to listen. Another home to build. Quiet moment as the ship sailed into the stars. Lena sat by the window. The stars outside twinkled like soft lights. She took out the old umbrella from her bag. The same one she gave away on her first day. The one she got back later repaired, cleaned, and returned by Dallin himself. She held it gently and whispered, "Funny how one small act can open a universe, somewhere on Earth." Far away, Dallin stood in a quiet garden. Beside him was a new candidate, nervous, unsure, holding a broken datapad. He smiled. "Let me tell you a story," he began, "about a girl who missed her interview, but helped a stranger." Final words. Lena didn't set out to change the world. She simply helped someone. She listened. She cared. And in doing so, she lit the path for others. In a universe full of machines, power, and silence, she reminded everyone, human kindness is still the most powerful force of all.